Wow, this is definitely the coolest city tour I've ever done.
We're flying through Class Bravo airspace and capturing some amazing footage.
Okay, so straight ahead of us is Alcatraz Island.
I'm flying with a Patreon supporter.
All clear over towards the Golden Gate Bridge, or can you tell yet?
It is clear over the Golden Gate. It is a beautiful night for flying.
And we got to do the low-level transition over San Francisco International.
We'll never have a better shot of an airport, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It looks like a circuit board. It's beautiful.
San Carlos Ground. Bayflight 8 is at the flight center with information. Mike, is San Francisco accepting surface transitions?
Bayflight 8, affirmative.
All right, can they change that depart out via the San Francisco surface area?
Bayflight 8, you can plan a Bravo transition. Departure will be San Francisco Tower 1205.
205, Bayflight 8.
We pulled this footage of the archives from 2 years ago. It was from our first major production trip, and it was entirely thanks to our Patreon campaign, which is a mechanism that allowed supporters like Elliot to have direct impact on the content that we create with Flight Chops. It's thanks to this team at Patreon that really allowed me to create revenue before sponsors were a thing. And while I was out there, I got to talk to Jack Conte, co-founder and CEO of Patreon.
What is it that got this thing going for you?
The Millennium Falcon or Patreon?
The cool thing about Jack is that he's a creator as well, and his desire to create sustainable art is what inspired him.
The Millennium Falcon was me just freaking wanting to spend my time making something that I loved and was passionate about and believed in. And I had been working like 2 months on this like robot thing and this elevator thing and this music video, and then I started cranking on the background set, and I wasn't thinking about, you know, how it was going to do on YouTube or being a viral video or like how much money it was going to cost. I just wanted to make something. So it's like just the sheer joy of creating.
Elliot was one of the first Patreon supporters for Flight Chops, and it made perfect sense to bring him here to talk.
So when I launched the Patreon campaign, you were like on board almost immediately, and you posted that invite to take me flying, and it had the picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. And the Patreon campaign has literally made this possible because we did it in less than a year. I'm so stoked we got it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, what you were doing with Flight Chops 1.0, the original Flight Chops, I mean, that content was just like sort of unicorn stuff for general aviation pilots. I mean, we can't find that at any price anywhere else. So, I mean, I really appreciated the work that you guys were doing to put out some quality stuff that kind of appealed to the general aviation community. And, you know, when you posted the video and said, hey, this is the direction I want to take the channel in, I was just totally stoked, man. I was very excited about it, so I wanted to support that.
And that support from Elliot and hundreds of others is literally what got me and my crew to Northern California.
And because the clearance here is a little tight, I want to taxi up to the movement area. That looks super tight. You really got to get your wheel on that yellow line, eh? Yeah, well, when there's planes over there, it's a nightmare.
And talk about a tight squeeze. I don't know how these guys do it. Stick around to the end to see how close these wingtips get to the buildings.
So the plan is going to be to head up through the San Francisco surface area, go over the city, Golden Gate Bridge, kind of turn around and come back. That's the plan. Any questions before our departure?
Will you see Godzilla?
I don't know. You never know.
And that's my goofy director, James, in the back seat. He's been on board since the beginning of Flight Chops.
San Carlos Tower, Bayflight 8 is in the right area, ready for departure.
Bayflight 8, San Carlos Tower, runway 30, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 30, Bayflight 8. All right, our landing lights on, our flaps are at 10. We are squawking what we're supposed to be squawking, and he cleared us for takeoff. Finals clear. All right, engines are in the green, airspeed's alive. I guess my only question is about the fog or whatever. That's something I'm not familiar with. Well, I checked the weather before I came out to pick you up, and it looked pretty good.
Flight 8, remain outside of Class Bravo until you receive authorization. Contact San Francisco 120.5.
Outside of Bravo to authorized, and over to there, 120.5. San Francisco Tower, Bayflight 8, level 1000, just off San Carlos.
Bayflight 8, San Francisco Tower, roger, IDEN, third in the Bob airspace, remain south and west of Highway 101, San Francisco, altimeter 3001.
Okay, south and west of 101, 3001, Bayflight 8. So this is the Class Bravo. We couldn't go in there until he gave us authorization, but we're good now.
My only concern about this trip was the low-level fog ahead as we approached the city.
What do you expect that's going to become after dark? Is it going to condense more? Or no. Oh, yeah. So this really doesn't come into fog until late
And
night, early morning.
6232 to your radar contact, 5 miles southeast of San Francisco, so your altitude.
Flight 8 is level around 1,500.
Flight 8, thanks. Are you familiar with the Millbrae BART station?
I am familiar. Flight 8.
Flight 8, thanks. Hold over the Millbrae BART station till advised, please, for one departure westbound.
Okay, one departure. We'll hold over the Millbrae BART station, Flight 8.
What's that? That's like a particular landmark?
It's actually about
MOC, United 2248.
probably a 5-minute walk from my house, so you think I'll be able to pick it up?
So he wants you to orbit at some point?
Yeah.
The 28 left.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cross 28 left, ground point. They sure manage stuff.
United 855.
So this is the BART station in front of us.
Wait, chop to depart north.
Okay, there's kind of some train tracks coming into it. And just to the left of that is the hospital where my son was born.
Very cool. Are we supposed to orbit now or something?
Yep. We're starting left turns here.
Cross 28 right, going to ground, United 2248.
Do it at 1200. This is good. Practice my turns around the point. Fortunately, we're getting a little bit of turbulence over there.
Yeah, well, yeah, from the mountain there.
I'm trying to find my house and actually do turns around a point at my house, which I've never done before. I thought that's pretty awesome.
This type of collaboration between patron and creator is amazing, and I look forward to doing a lot more of it in the future as the campaign's continuing to grow.
I think it's really important to have a business model that just intrinsically aligns the company's interests with the users, in this case, creators. Because we're not charging artists to use the platform, like it's not like, oh, it's $10 a month. If it were $10 a month, then we'd just be like, it would totally change the dynamic actually. But because we take 5% of process pledges, all we have to focus on, literally the whole company, is rallied around sending payments to creators. For us, the conversation and the process is balancing employees, shareholders, creators, and patrons, right? Like that's who we're thinking about all the time. And if we can have a mission and a business model that aligns everybody, that's so important to have.
Flight 8, tell you what, I ain't got no departures right now, so why don't you fly directly overhead the VOR, then intercept Highway 101 northwest of the field.
Okay, over the VOR, then intercept Highway 101 for Bay Flight 8. Yeah.
So you need to pretty much fly over the field. So the red dot.
Contact North Carolina.
See the red dot?
Yeah, oh yeah, there we go.
That's a VOR beacon. Yeah, they're usually right smack geographical center of an airport. So what he's doing is putting us in the middle so that wherever the other aircraft go.
Hey, Tower, Bay Flight 8 is 1200, okay?
Yeah, 1500 would be better.
5.5, Bay Flight 8.
You're fine, Bay Flight 8. Just once you're west of the freeway, then maintain VFR to below 2000.
Okay, once west of freeway, VFR below 2000.
Flying over an airport like this is unusual, right?
And, yeah. 28 left.
It's the first time I've done it.
We can take 28 left.
So being an out-of-towner, the only thing that makes me nervous about this is that I know the fog is like a scary thing out here.
No, we're fine.
That's the only thing that like I feel uneasy about, and it's only because I'm not from here.
No, I mean, if the worst case scenario is we could just fly over Oakland and come back in, because it never gets foggy where we are going.
Right for United 255, line up away. Thank you.
Yeah, so you just don't want to mess around going that way in the clouds, eh?
Oh no, we're not going to get
that radio tower is scary.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere near.
Oh yeah. I was paying attention to the
Go ahead and contact NorCal 135.1. Hope you enjoyed that.
35-1, that was great, thanks.
That's awesome. He knew that we'd enjoy that.
NorCal, Bay Flight 8 is climbing out of 1,700 for 2,000.
Bay Flight 8 NorCal approach. Roger, stay west of 101 or north of the Bay Bridge on your tour.
We'll stay west and north of the 101 at the Bay Bridge, Bay Flight 8.
Oh, that means we need to stay in this quadrant?
We just need to stay on this side of the highway, keep the highway to our right, and the bridge to our right, basically, that's it.
So fly over the city, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow, this is definitely the coolest city tour I've ever done.
So that's the Bay Bridge, to our right.
What's the Bravo floor?
Bay Flight 8, altitude your discretion.
Altitude by discretion, Bay Flight 8. So we can't go above 21 here.
He just said altitude your discretion.
He did, but he also said stay clear of the bridge.
That's a bit of a contradiction.
That's all right. Okay, so straight ahead of us is Alcatraz Island.
Yep, that's awesome. Oh yeah, man, you gotta know where you are around here, eh? Like in my hometown, the only thing you can hit is the CN Tower. If you find yourself in poor visibility or something. If you don't like it, you can just prick any direction and fly and then get help. But around here, you cannot do that. There's rocks in these clouds.
No. The good news is the NorCal controllers are awesome.
Yeah. For him to say, I hope you enjoyed that, that's cool.
I've never been vectored over the field before, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, that's sweet. And for him to know that we would enjoy that, I just love that everybody, like controllers, the spirit of like enjoying flying is always, everybody has a piece of it. And it's so fun when a controller kind of reveals that part of themselves.
Is it all clear over towards the Golden Gate Bridge, or can you tell yet?
You know, it is clear over the Golden Gate. It is a beautiful night for flying. At NorCal Bay Flight 8, it's beautiful out here, but we'd like to head back to San Carlos, take a Class Bravo transition.
Bay Flight 8, clear to the Bravo airspace, Hasbro 2000, remain west and south of Highway 101.
West and south of 101 and 2000 for Bay Flight 8.
How do you like the G1000? Did you do your training on it?
You know, it's what I learned on, so it's a hell of a lot easier for me than trying to read a six-pack.
I'm the other way around.
I know. That's what everyone says.
The problem is I don't really have access to a G1000 on a regular. There's one airplane that I could rent that has it, and it's more expensive, and it's like, I don't really need it.
And speaking of things I needed back then, I was still wearing a beat-up, decade-old headset. I'm proud to be giving away an A20 from Bose this month.
Tower Bay Flight 8, level 2000.
Bay Flight 8, San Francisco Tower, roger, remain west and south of Highway 101, maintain VFR at or below 2000, the altimeter 3001.
Okay, we'll keep the highway to our left side at or below 2000, Bay Flight 8. That's the Sutro Tower there, sticking up. I've actually flown through here where this was a solid layer and you could just see the lights tipping out.
Oh, what we got to do was pretty epic.
Yeah, that was awesome, I gotta say.
Oh, awesome. I was first talking about signing up with Patreon. One of the engineers was helping me out. I made a joke with him that when I get invited to fly here with one of my supporters, I'll bring him up.
American 177,
and
8 miles out.
You posted on like day one, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. Was it day one? It was early. A little bit of a updraft.
Yeah, right from that.
Your glider days coming back to you?
Oh, my glider days came back to me today, man.
I
was in a 233, a Schweizer 233 today.
No kidding.
Which is what I soloed in 1996.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about that. When I made the joke with the Patreon engineer that I was writing to, I was like, yeah, one of my supporters will probably be from San Francisco, and we'll take you for a flight of the Golden Gate Bridge. And we laughed about it, and then bam. And he replied about it, because he was like, what, are you psychic or something?
Yeah, this is a real flying nerd shot.
With the clouds going in between there? Yeah, that's awesome. And the light's reflecting on the water?
Yeah, I got it all. We'll never have a better shot of an airport, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It looks like a circuit board. It's beautiful.
One right, clear for takeoff, United 1187.
Skyway 6269 down at Tango, kind of ground 18. Secure Tower, the 125011, runway 28 right, at Echo, clear for takeoff.
Carlos Tower, Bay Flight 8, are you still open?
904.
8636 kilo, right downwind, runway 30, San Carlos.
A company is people. You want good people around you. Nice people who care about creators. Everybody here, every single person, is a mission-driven, creator-centric person.
San Carlos traffic, Bay Flight 8 is about 5 miles to the west. We're going to fly overhead the field at 1200, center the right downwind.
It's closed now, so it just becomes a CTAP?
Yep.
I'm in a good place where my home base is uncontrolled. I got tons of experience flying at a controlled base as well.
Yeah, no, I got trained at an uncontrolled airport. It was very helpful, actually, to do it that way, because people who get trained in a towered airport and then fly uncontrolled usually have no idea what's going on.
I'm less comfortable in uncontrolled, mostly because I'm afraid of what other people are going to do.
Yep.
You got the field? Because I don't.
I do have the field, yeah. It's to our left. It's maybe 2 miles. And I'm just going to parallel it and then cross right overhead.
And then we're going to do a right traffic pattern?
Then we're going to enter to the right. Yep, it's a right traffic for runway 30.
Traffic.
San Carlos traffic, Bay Flight 8 is flying overhead the field 1200 near the right downwind for 30. I have landing traffic in sight.
So it looks like that's the only traffic from my perspective.
Yeah, we'll see. Get a better picture here when we just get right over the runway. San Carlos traffic, Bay Flight 8 is turning right downwind, runway 30, San Carlos.
What's the downwind check in the G1000?
It's basically the same as anything, right? So gas, mixture is full, all of our lights are on, autopilot's off, and we gotta get it slowed down and down to pattern altitude, which is 800 feet here. San Carlos traffic, Bay Flight 8 is gonna turn right base, runway 30, San Carlos. So at 70, we'll put 20 in for our base turn. And we're looking for 60 knots over the fence. San Carlos traffic, Bay Flight 8 turning final, runway 30, San Carlos.
I'm sure you've got a lot of supporters that are really happy with the content. I'm certainly one of them, so we really appreciate the work.
Okay, flaps 30, 65, got the runway made.
Plus, I think what you're doing also to expose people to the general aviation community that probably aren't aware of it or maybe know something about it but are afraid to get into it. I think it's really, important that content is out there, that people can watch it and get excited and, want to go flying and, just join the club, man. And I think that's what it's all about, is getting as many people excited about aviation and flying as you can, and I think you're doing a great job.
Bravo.
Well done.
What a nice flight.
8 is clear of active sync.
So huge thanks to Patreon supporters like Elliot. Flight Chops has become an awesome project, producing multiple high production value episodes per month. And now we've got sponsors helping as well. Please visit flightchops.com to learn more and keep your flight chops sharp.
All right, Steve, so if you could watch the right wing for me here, make sure clearances are good once I get turned around.
Go super slow, because
Yeah,
I feel like this is insane.
Yeah.
Are you going to leave the strobes blinking, or do you want to turn?
I'm actually going to leave them on because it's going to help me see this from here. I just don't know how.
God damn, that's close. But okay, yeah.
See, we're not even on the line. You see, I'm cheating here.
Yeah, you got to guess a couple feet there.
Yeah.
How many people have taken wingtips off here?
I have taken a light off.